Welcome everyone to Talented Universe. I'm going to switch the screens in just a few minutes, but I'd like to welcome my co-host, Vernon Barnard. Vernon, thank you for coming today.
Hey, Matt. Good to be with you once again. Coming to you guys from a very windy Strand, Western Cape, South Africa today.
Yeah, there you go. And I would like to welcome our guest today. That is Jonny Quatro. Thank you for joining us from, am I allowed to say what state you're in?
You may, yes. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. Yes.
In South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just not too far away from me, so that's kind of cool.
East Coast, yeah. I'm originally from up north in upstate New York, and I got sick of shoveling snow, so I came down south.
And they just got hit again with snow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It missed me and went there, so I was happy.
Yeah, you're one of the lucky ones.
I was one of the lucky ones. Yes,
yeah.
Yes, I was. Well, we have ARC54 in the chat room, and she's saying good afternoon. And she's just getting right started with your background singing in the church. Do you think it helped influence your music?
Oh, it's a great question. Yeah, 100%, absolutely. It's influenced my music. First of all, in ability, just being able to sing. Growing up, I went to church twice a week, Sundays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And then there was choir and quartets and all sorts of singing. So since I could talk, I was singing, and that definitely gave me a lot of ability to write and harmonize and, play instruments and things. So I'm very thankful for that. But then on a songwriting level, it definitely, growing up singing worship music, worship is like a very naked, very vulnerable act. It's a very open act. So being able to be open with music helps write about life and really write about any topic. It kind of helps you break the walls down and be very, very open and very honest in songwriting. So yeah, it's a great, I think if you asked a lot of successful artists about their background, I bet you a lot of them started in church.
True. Solid foundation.
Yeah. I mean, if you grow up around music, that helps, and the music is an integral part of every church that I've ever been to. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and especially like the connection between the spiritual and the emotional. Obviously, that is very prominent in a church environment. So it makes complete sense.
Sure. Well, and sometimes when I'm writing a song, believe it or not, if I get some sort of writer's block, I'll be staring at the page writing. It doesn't really matter what the song is about. If I just start writing as if I'm writing to God, it tends to sort of unlock the song a little bit, because that's a tumultuous relationship for anybody. So, it definitely helps you dig into your emotions for sure.
Absolutely. And tell me, which instruments do you play?
Little piano, little guitar, not enough to make me dangerous, I say.
Enough to compose.
Yeah, and it's something I'd like to get back into doing deeply. So far in my musical journey, I've done a lot of collaboration, a lot of working with a lot of talented producers to produce the instrumental portion, so that you can sort of unlock I write all the melody, I write all the lyrics, the songs are my own, but when it comes to the orchestration or the instrumental part, I collaborate with some really excellent producers that help, sort of put everything together, which is fantastic.
I mean, I was about to mention that at some stage in just our conversation, I really enjoyed the instrumental stuff, bringing those I would say maybe not trap, but that definitely those 808, those nice bassy 808s, which are very popular in pop music at the moment, very prominent, and I enjoyed the production of those. So the songs that you have available on YouTube. So it's
thank you.
Sounding nice and wide and full. So great on the production front, definitely.
Thank you so much. My latest single is the lyric video will be coming to YouTube soon. But yeah, the producers that I've worked with so far have a lot of influence in, like you said, trap or R&B or pop music. So the gentleman I worked with on Wonder had also done work with a lot of similar artists. the second song, And I Found Another, that guy had worked with Rihanna and Pop Smoke and a lot of those artists as well. So that there's definitely that vibe was plentiful with those guys. It's so cool working with talented people.
Absolutely.
Because I'll have an idea in my head, right? And I can hear, when I write the song, I can hear it all in my head, but I can't necessarily, it's hard to let someone else into your brain and show them exactly what it is that you envision. You know, any field of art, the artist can imagine the completed product and no one else can. So
yeah.
You know, my producer, Noah McGrath, who I work hands on with, and we co-produce all of my music. He's got such a wide range of experience with all genres, and he actually has worked a lot in country. He works with Darius Rucker and guys like that, and that it's cool though. He has a penchant for EDM, so it's cool for me to be able to just sort of make sounds with my mouth at him and say, I'd like it to sound like this, and make a silly sound. He'll be like, oh, I know what you mean, and then he can dig into his bag and pull things out. So that's the collaboration element is interesting. I'm not a great collaborator when it comes to life in general. I tend to kind of be very laser focused, and I like seeing my own vision through. But the hands-on process of making the music has really opened up that idea of collaboration to me. Now I'm really excited to collaborate with others. And I've actually, for this album, I've got several feelers out for artists to write and sing with, to have some collaborating tracks on the album. And I'm excited. I've got some nice responses. I can't reveal any names yet, but
of course,
got some exciting things in the works. So.
But you're just building the expectations. So good on the marketing front.
Sure.
Awesome,
well, I'm trying to do something a little bit unique than I grew up listening to music. I'm sure you guys did as well. It came on an album by album basis. Your artist would make an album and you'd listen to it. I'm trying to just go release one new single per month this year. Last weekend of every month is a brand new single, all original. And at the end of the year, I'll compile that into a 12-track album for everyone to consume in album format. But for those that follow the journey all the way through, they're going to want some new music. So I'll put 3 or 4 bonus tracks on that album so that the people that follow the journey have new music, and then people that are just discovering me have this nice, big, juicy 15, 16 song album to deal with. So that's kind of that's the strategy I'm taking towards release this year, to sort of hopefully build the following and the audience.
I think that's the most effective way of the times that we live in. People, you're completely on the spot when you say, like, we had to wait for, let's say, 2 or 3 years to get the new album, and then singles could be released off that album, and we'll be like, okay, there's 3 or 4 songs that make it to the radio, and the other ones you'll only get if you buy the album.
Right.
And these days it's pretty cool that, it's got its your pros and cons, I think, for artists, but it's also very good in terms of just content and connecting with with the public. So that's very cool that you're able to put out something new every month.
Yeah, and that's exciting because it does also free me up a little bit genre wise, because if I'm creating a cohesive album, then there has to be a bit of a through line, and you don't want to give your listener whiplash. But because I'm releasing song by song, next month's song, what are we in, April? So next month's song, if I go ahead and release that one, because I got a bank of ones to choose from, but I've got songs with some rap in them. I've got songs that are just straight ballads that are very stripped down. I've got songs that are EDM, dance pop, all kinds of different genres. So I'm able to bend and play with a lot of genres without feeling like I need to fit it into a box. So the monthly release, I can just release something different, wildly different each month, and surprise people. So
that's cool. Well, let's go back to the chat room from Aisha, one of our listeners from the UK. Hi guys. So Jonny, do you base a lot of your music on gospel music? I think you kind of said maybe, but
well, that's a good question. I wouldn't say I base it on gospel music. No. There's definitely a gospel church influence in my upbringing and in my writing, but It's just as cliche as it sounds. I'm just writing what I feel in the moment. If I am feeling angry, I'll write angry. If I'm feeling petty, I'll write petty. If I'm feeling sad and lonely, I'll write sad and lonely. So it is cathartic and nice to just. I write a lot while driving, believe it or not. Yeah, I'll hop in the car and just drive and just sort of let my mind try and sort my emotion into lyric lines. And once I find that sort of hook to hang the song on, then I got to stop driving, obviously, and I'll walk.
Very good. Yes.
Yes. We don't write and drive. Then I'll walk. I'll take once I've got a melody hook in my head, I'll walk with that. Where I live, there's a nice track for walking, and if anyone ever watches me, I hope they don't. It's generally at night, but I'll walk in rhythm with whatever I'm working on. So I probably look a little ridiculous, but and then once it starts to crystallize, I'll try and get the full the full melody line completed. And then once lyrics start to crystallize, I need to sit down with a pen and paper and just start writing concrete, because that crystallizes it. So, and then when that process is finished, I just tweak it a bunch. I have found once I'm done penning the final lyric and the final note, I don't change too much.
Okay.
I find it very hard to unwrite once I've written. So it's really difficult once you've written something to take it and throw it away and start over. I've done it, but it is a little like watching something you love die to some degree, just because it came out of you, Yeah. And then when that process is done, it takes on new life in the studio for sure. That's when I start adding layers and things. So I've done some writing in studio, but the basic bones of the song have to be complete before I'll go into the studio.
Yeah, Arc 54 has a follow-up. What decade or era of music other than church music influenced you the most, and what artist influenced you?
So there's no question that it's the big band jazz era. That's my comfort zone, which is funny because you haven't heard any of that in my music yet. And a lot of that has to do with the limitations of not having access to a full orchestra. If I got successful and wealthy enough to pay for a full orchestra and arranger, I will absolutely make a big band jazz album. So if I end up blowing up, go back to this interview. Anyone that's watching this, hold me to it. Send me DMs.
Oh, we will. Don't worry.
Hold me to it, because Frank Sinatra is my favorite artist of all time.
Nice.
It's not even close. And I'm something of a collector. I have a lot of memorabilia and things collected of his, and his interpretation of songs is great. So it's about the only thing I can take and put into my music is how I interpret the lyrics from a vocal standpoint. But that is the era that I love the most. Last night before heading to bed, I was watching a Bing Crosby movie musical. That era is my jam, man. I love that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, I'm just thinking now, like that could be an interesting sound. The first song that came to mind where I'm thinking of elements that could blend into the pop scene is like, for instance, what's it called? The Hotline, or what's the one?
Hotline Bling by Drake.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that one. Like it sounds like there's some trumpets in the background. Da, 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 da. So I wonder if that. Yeah, so I mean, there are many ways to blend genres together. And,
I got an upcoming single called Ipanema Girl, which takes a bossa nova beat and puts it in a sort of a trap element. And
okay.
I've got a nice little Marlon Brando sample on the beginning. Then we've got the bossa nova beat, and then it drops into a rap verse, which leads to a sung chorus. And it's very island, very tropical, but it has a vintage inspiration to it. I'm excited to release that one for sure.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about just putting your own twist on things, right?
Sure. Trying to bring something to the table that can be uniquely me. I had an audition with American Idol set up years and years ago, and I didn't end up going for personal reasons. But I remember when I was thinking about it, I thought my voice is good, but it isn't win a talent show good. Like it's
Okay. Yeah.
there's people that can do better vocal gymnastics than I. There's people that can sing higher and sing lower than I can. So I realized even back then, like I need to write for my voice. I need to write my thoughts and that's where I can carve a niche as a singer-songwriter, is presenting people with new songs rather than just covers. So, you know, and it's, and all respect to people that do those talent shows, you know, they have the truly talented voices that I admire so much, but a lot of the great artists that have stood the test of time, they stand on their songs, you know, not necessarily on their voice.
Absolutely. No, that's a fair comment.
Yeah. I mean, I think Bob Dylan, we'd all agree he stands on his songs, not his voice, you know. But there's a lot of guys like that. Billy Joel. I mean, Billy Joel has a great voice, but it's his songs that people remember. Elton John and the Beatles. These are, you know, they're good voices. But I think if nobody knew who those guys were, and then they put them on American Idol or The Voice, they would likely not win. If the memory of them was wiped from existence and they were just their voices alone handed a song to sing, but it's their ability to bring forth ideas and feelings and emotions in a song that connects, and then, you know, they're able to work with that. So that's an exciting thought.
True, and it's also a rare feat to get that perfect combination, I guess, to like have those memorable songs. But I mean, you are intentional with it, that you want to get that formula right?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. It's a matter of being honest in my lyrics, but still writing a catchy enough hook that people will get it stuck in their head. And that's what I've heard the most feedback from everybody, both from people in the industry and people, you know, fans saying, "Hey, I can't get the song out of my head. You know, it's stuck in my head." So I'm like, "All right, so we're
You don't mind."
I don't mind at all, man. That's good stuff.
Great
Yeah,
stuff.
Aisha has another question. So I take it that you will multi-track and add harmonies to fill out a song.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of the songs, by the time they're done, there's so many layers to them that the computer is breathing heavily. Let's put it that way. And it is funny because sometimes I'll go into the studio to record and I'll say, "Hey, let's take the presets that we used for such and such song, and we'll start with this track recording using those presets to get a similar sound." And as we begin, there's just so much latency on the vocal because of the amount of layers that the previous song had, that we end up having to go back and make it a little less CPU intensive and, you know, sort of back off on the layers until we've gotten the bare bones down. So I do all my own harmonies and stack them in layers, and that's been a lot of fun. I got an upcoming song that has some really soaring falsetto harmonies in the background, and that was a lot of fun to record.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you find falsetto easy for you, or
yes,
does it drive you crazy?
No, I enjoy it. I mean, I used to be in a lot of quartets, and although I sang the soprano and the lead a lot, sometimes if we found a particularly difficult song that had a super high part that was difficult, I'd volunteer to go up there and get it. So yeah, when I was younger, I used to stand with the girls in choir and sing the high
I can
parts.
relate to that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's always gotta. It was like when you're a kid, that's like vaguely embarrassing, but also like a little bit of a flex, because you're like, I can do something the rest of the guys can't. But then, you know, there's always that aspect of like, you know, oh, you're singing with the girls, which is funny. But yeah. I do miss the choir singing. I haven't done it in a while, and that's a blast.
Yeah. Aisha says, "I'm a Buddy Holly fan. Now, you like Frank Sinatra. Do you think you could ever do a Buddy Holly style song like Peggy Sue or Raining?"
Oh, I'd love to. That whole era fascinates me, and I do when I do karaoke and stuff. I'm deep into that era. So yeah, I'd love to do Buddy Holly style stuff. Right now, as I'm still a young artist, as I'm growing in the business, I'd love to keep on meeting people that can connect me with the right musicians. So if I meet people that have musical instrument talent to a level that I could write with them of that style,
Yeah.
100%. I am working on a big band jazz style song, but again, it's really difficult to do without having access to a full orchestra, which was, I don't know if you guys are classic film buffs at all, but you'll watch a movie from the 30s and they'll be like, let's go clubbing, right? And clubbing back then was every single club had a 50, 60 piece orchestra. It wasn't, nowadays, obviously, you go clubbing and it's a DJ doing his thing.
Uh-huh.
But it's just orchestras were everywhere. People learned instruments from a young age and learned to play in that setting. And I get so envious watching some of those movies and thinking, sheesh, man, to be able to, there's a good jazz spot here in Charleston that I'll try and break into a little bit. But from a writing standpoint, the rawness of pop sort of lets you get away with a lot of stuff that jazz doesn't. Jazz, from a lyrical standpoint, requires you to be a little bit more polished in your pentameter and in your lyricism and your the timing specifically of it. Whereas pop sort of lets you be a little messy if you want to.
Yeah.
I can.
Sorry. Go ahead, Vernon. Go ahead.
Okay.
Vernon. I'll take the question.
Great stuff. Jana, I'm just thinking, I can hear that you have like a very focused and business mindset to music, which is great, because it is a brand that you're establishing. It is a product that you're trying to sell, and it's yourself. So obviously, I think that's where the arts are interesting, because you can't just say it's I love it and it's my passion, and for that reason it's just going to work out. So I love the fact that I'm hearing more and more artists that have a business mindset towards their music. But I'm thinking now, like, where did you get this approach? That you just from the start, realize that this is something that I'm going to have to also be calculated about, and yeah.
That's a good question. I definitely have to get out of my own way sometimes, because I don't want to write I don't want the music to be written to make money. Who doesn't want money, right? I would love some money, but I'm not making money off the music right now. I'm not at that stage. So I set a couple of goals for myself. One, the first goal when this year started was to release my debut single, because I've been writing for years but never actually gotten something professionally released. So once I hit that, I was like, okay, I can do this. And as somebody that struggles with anxiety, doing something and discovering I can do this it's such a relief, and it's so empowering because it unlocks a whole new section of things that your brain can do. So once I did that, I was like, okay, I want to make a full album. And then I had to stop and say, why do I want to do this? Is this to get rich and famous? Because heaven knows that's not very likely. There's just so much music out there. And I realized, no, I would like to make something that lives longer than myself. And when I take a song that's in my head and put it down on paper, it'll never not exist. It now exists, and it won't stop. I'll die, I'll cease to exist on this earth, but the songs that I write will exist in perpetuity. And that's a legacy, and that's exciting. So that's where I began goal-wise. Now, I would like more people to be able to hear my music, and that's where, to answer your question, Vernon, that's where I had to sort of think, okay, but how on a practical level can I get the most people to hear this? So there's that aspect. Now, I understand that, life is like looking both ways before crossing the street and then getting hit by an airplane, right? Sometimes you can't predict what's going to happen. So exactly. I take it one day at a time. I try and keep the business out of my writing process. But then once it's written, then I'll look into the business end of it. But I try not to let the business end muddy the creative end. But it's a dance. You can plan things. It reminds me. This is maybe this is a metaphor, but I could use. But when I was a kid, you can plan things all you want, and things will go sideways. When I was a kid, me and my brother decided let's climb up onto the roof of our barn. That's a good idea. So up we climbed, and it was winter. We found a little sapling, and we shimmied up to the top of the barn. And once we got up there, we realized we forgot to plan a way to get down because the tree was far too skinny to support our weight coming back down. We barely made it up as it was. And this was a tall barn. And so we sat there for about half an hour looking over the edge and planning different ways to get down without perishing. So one of my younger brothers thought, hey, I'll build a pile of snow for you guys to land in. And we thought that was a swell idea. So we planned perfectly the width of the pile of snow, the depth of the pile of snow. Oh, it was so scientific, I tell you. But when we jumped, I forgot to think about the fact that my legs would stick in the snow and the rest of my body would keep going. So from that day forward, I wake up with lower back pain. So you can plan things any way you want to, but the outcome is out of your control. So when I release music, I hope that the outcome is what I want, but sometimes you bang up against the wall and have to start over and try again. So, the best laid plans of mice and men, as Shakespeare used to say. Sometimes you gotta just be willing to accept the results as they are.
Yeah. Let's get back to the question that I threw down. Arc 54 says, I have a feeling you're going to pick Sinatra, but if you could do a duet with any artist, living or dead, male or female, who would it be? And who would be your perfect person to harmonize with?
Great question. I can dice
likes
that up
hard questions. She's
a very good question asker.
Yes, she is.
She is definitely.
I would say I'll dice that up because you already said Sinatra. That's the dead artist. I would choose who's a male. Female artist who's not currently with us, probably Doris Day, because I feel like the harmonies would be great. Living artists, I would definitely be John Mayer, probably.
Good choice.
His musicianship is off the charts, and he just goes so well from genre to genre. So I'd love to collaborate with him. Female artists these days, that's a great question. There's so many good ones. I do like Lizzie McAlpine. I think is killing it right now. She has such honest songwriting, and I feel like the harmonies would be fun there. She's fantastic. Yeah, so those would be my living and dead artist choice for collaboration right about now.
And how about harmonizing with, she said, or is that kind of the same?
I could harmonize with pretty much anybody, probably. Although I have been writing some songs lately that I don't know if you guys know who Jon Foreman is, but he's such an excellent musician. He's the lead singer and songwriter of Switchfoot, the band, and I've written some songs lately that when they're done, I go, gee whiz, he'd sound amazing on this. I feel like we could really harmonize well. So that's a voice that sticks in my head. I've reached out to him recently. And
I was going to say, have you reached out? Yeah,
I have. I did reach out to him recently, and he hasn't gotten back to me yet. And obviously, he's a Grammy-winning big star, so he may never get back to me. But it doesn't hurt to ask. So
no, it does not hurt to ask. No.
Yeah, because I've written some stuff that I'm like, oh, this would really work with our voices. So we're putting that out. Let's put that out there. Jon Foreman, call me.
From one John to another.
That's right. Let's make it happen. Get all the Johns together.
Exactly.
I have met him though. He's a really wonderful guy. He's
awesome.
Sometimes you meet an artist and it seems like they're kind of burnt out on the process, but that guy loves music. I had been to one of his shows, and the show was over, and I was just chilling with some friends. It was around midnight. The show had ended a while before, and he came walking out of the dark, and gives me a high five, and he said, "Hey guys, there's maybe a dozen of us. He said, hey guys, let me grab my guitar and we'll sit around and jam." And he sat in a little alley on a little alley, and there was a little bench there. And we all sat, just a few of us, and he sang some new songs. He sang some unreleased ones, and he handed me his phone. He was like, "Here, hold this. I want to read my lyrics off of this new song." And I was like, "Don't you have a flight to catch? Like, you're on tour." And he was like, "Well, I like music. I do it for free. Like, I started off doing it for free. I haven't had success, but I just enjoy." So I loved that, because I was like, man, as an artist, he finished playing a 2-hour show. He could be sleeping right now in the bus or on the plane or wherever, but he's doing this free music thing just for the love of music. And that was very inspiring. I loved that experience. So I definitely I took that out of the evening of, man, make sure you never lose the love.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Arc54 made a comment about your classic movies. Nothing better than real classic movies. Glad you appreciate true works of art.
Yeah, it's good stuff. The intent behind everything, was so, even from a writing standpoint, I love screenwriting as well. I've got a couple ideas for screenplays, and I've started writing one a while ago that I kind of let go by the wayside. But if I ever got that opportunity, I would do that as well. But the intention of classic films and their screenwriting is so beautiful. I was watching one the other night, and the one character was to say to the other one, "Hey, how much money did we make?" And the other person was supposed to reply, "We made $94." Right? That's what your modern screenwriter would write in that interchange. But this classic 1930s, 1940s screenwriter said, the person said, "How much money do we make?" The other person replied, 94 federal diplomas clinked into the till. And I was like, that's good writing. That's intentional, interesting writing.
Yeah.
Oh, now, Aisha, now this may sound slightly silly. Will you or could you take music from another country to, say, base a song on?
I'm open to do anything. I guess in this day and age, it's so you have to be careful that you don't get accused of appropriation or something. But
yes,
I love all cultures of music. So to me, it's a beautiful thing to be able to. It's not even borrowing or stealing. It's just appreciating.
Absolutely.
I don't know if, again, what do I know? But I don't really see appropriation of music. I see appreciation of music. So everyone's borrowing from something, right? So for me, I love Latin rhythms. I find some fascinating stuff there. I think that would be fun to write on. And yeah, even like this is gonna sound silly, but like that French cooking music. You know what I'm talking about? It's in all of the the old films whenever anyone goes to Paris. But like, there's such a light charm to it that it always puts a smile on my face. And sometimes when you're writing songs, you go, gee whiz, does every song have to be about love or longing? Can we have something that's fun or silly or interesting? And so I'm hoping to tap that side of my creativity soon and write about things that aren't just love or longing, or there's a lot of emotions and not all of them have to do with other people.
Yeah.
No, awesome. We've got about 5-10 more minutes top. So if you do have a question in the chat room, please put it in. Of course, there goes ARC54. One final question. How do you balance your medical career with your music, and do your patients know about your music?
That's a great question. I feel like ARC54 is someone that knows me.
Yeah.
He's got proper research, man.
That's right. And I didn't give anyone a list of questions to ask either.
No. No, I know. She told me yesterday, she did a podcast with us yesterday. She was one of the hosts. So she told me, she says, I got some good questions for Jonny.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you, ARC54. I appreciate that. So by day, I am an optician. I work with the eye, and I help specifically veterans with their ocular health. So it's a good. It is busy, and then I work a lot of hours, is what I'll say, and so balancing it with the music is exhausting, to put it mildly. But I feel like medicine is what I do, right? And music is what I do it for, because that's what I end up looking forward to. I end up, looking forward to writing and producing as a release. And that's everyone has to have a reason why they do the things they do. And for me, again, I love my patients. I love the medical work, but there's just an extra layer of fulfillment from the creation process. And creators, don't make no mistake, creators must create. It's so important. If you are watching this and you have any creative bone in your body, it doesn't have to be for music, it can be for anything. You must must create. It's so important because people make money, right? Everyone tries to make money, but they make money and they spend it on the creative stuff that makes them happy. So the world needs people to create creative stuff for everyone to make their day worth living, you know, to make their day more enjoyable. I mean, who doesn't love to, on the ride home from work, who doesn't pop on music to calm them down or to soothe them or look at beautiful art or watch a film or something? People, creative arts are so important, as quote unquote impractical as they may be viewed by the general public. If you can create, you must create.
Yeah,
I enjoy your thoughts, man. I enjoy your thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
you've got a good thinking mind on you there. Eh?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do the last question or comment, let's say, from Aisha. Music has no borders or countries, and even if you don't speak the language, you enjoy that music. I enjoy Japanese anime music. Can't speak Japanese, but love the music.
Yeah.
Aisha, I'm with you there. I was watching, I watched Your Name and Suzume last week, which are two great anime films. And I won't butcher the director's name, but he's fantastic. And the music makes me cry. It makes me so emotional. And it's like, yeah, it's a different culture. Maybe I don't understand the language, but you know, no one's got a monopoly. I said this in my last podcast interview. No one's got a monopoly on A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You know, the notes on the scale belong to us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very true. And I mean, I listen to some of Vernon's music, which is in Afrikaans, and he knows very well I butcher the language. I don't understand it, but I do enjoy his music when he sings it in another language. So
Vernon, do me a favor and send me DM me some of your music. I'd love that.
Anytime, man. We'll be in touch, and yeah, it's been so lovely just getting to connect with you, man. Like I said, I really enjoy just your way of approaching music and approaching life, and you're a thoughtful person, and yeah, man. So definitely, I'll send you some of my stuff. But in terms of your music, we just wish you all of the best, eh? We just
thank you so much.
Wish that it will continue on an upward trajectory, and yeah, like looking forward to the. I think they call it the waterfall method, right? Releasing something every month.
Sure, so, I've heard it called the snowball effect. You know,
is it snowball as well? Hey, there's all kinds of names.
Sure, waterfall works too. It's sort of trickling. I want to say to you guys and to anyone that's watching this, if you follow my career, you're at least guaranteed one new song a month, which is exciting. I mean, how many artists out there, big and small, can promise one new song a month? I mean, that's your biggest artists in the world make you wait years between albums. But if you're following me, every month, man, that last weekend of every month, you're gonna get to tune in and hear something completely new, and spend the next month singing it until the next thing comes. So yeah, follow me, and I will reward you with consistency in music.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a great deal.
And Aisha, last comment says, thank you for joining us, and I hope the music continues to make you happy.
And it does, Aisha. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Everybody listening, thank you for coming. Jonny, you're more than welcome to come back anytime you want to chat with us, or if you got something new you want to talk about, whatever. Or if you just want to talk about another subject matter, you know, whatever.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. And maybe I'll have to, if I get some unreleased stuff, I might be able to use you guys as a platform to tease the audience a little bit.
Hey, that would be
great. Give you some exclusives. Yeah.
We would love that. We would love that. So those in the chat room, thanks for coming. And Randy Landers, thank you for giving us a like. I do appreciate that.
Randy.
So one of my bosses. But anyway, take care, everyone. Tomorrow night, we have a guest that is a little different from what we normally have. He is, you would say, maybe an acrobat. He does work on the sire ring. It's what they use in circuses. And he spins around in it with lights, and it's really cool. So he'll be there. He'll be here tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And we got a lot of other shows on our network. Just look at our network. ndbmedia.net and see what else is going on. But again, thank you. And thank you, Jonny, for being with us. Thanks,
Johnny.
Vernon. And we will all see you the next time.
My pleasure, guys.
Bye.
Thanks. What fun.
Bye-bye.